Michael, so let's start, I would say, with what looks like a breaking news to me, or it's not. Russia is effectively suspending negotiations with the Ukraine, as Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said Moscow is ready to continue talks only if the Ukrainian armed forces withdraw from Donbass. What does this change from your perspective? Does Russia feel strong enough, to dictate such terms, or is Putin simply, raising the stakes?
First of all, that is good news for us, for the Ukrainian side, because now we couldn't be accused of escaping peace or escaping peace agreement. Now it will be very difficult to, more difficult, let's say, not very difficult, but more difficult to President Trump to say Putin wants peace and Zelensky does not want peace. Because, yes, he could continue to say that anyway. He does not depend on anything. But we have the obvious fact that obviously one of I don't know assistants, the direct assistants of President Putin said that if they have some, I don't know, the preconditions for the negotiations, and Ukraine does not have any preconditions. More important, today is not just the regular day. Today is the day then our representative, Ukraine representative, Mr. Umerov, who is the chairman of Security Council, now he is traveling towards Florida, to Miami, and tomorrow he will have a meeting with Mr. Witkov. And at this moment, Russia says, no, we are not interested to continue the negotiation. It is very important. But Russians, they always have the back door in this. Because this is just Ushakov. This is not Putin's word. This is not the official speaker of Kremlin, Mr. Peskov word. This is not the official representative in negotiation, by the way. Because Mr. Putin once claimed that we have only one official representative on negotiation, and this is Mr. Medinsky, who is also some of Putin assistant and has some position in his administration. So Ushakov is not such an official guy. But we understand that de facto, Ushakov is the person who negotiates directly with Witkov. And we have also the transcript of their phone conversation between Witkov and Ushakov. So I'm sure that Witkov knew it before us and knew it not from the media and from direct message from Mr. Ushakov. So yes, it is the change in the Russian position on one hand, but on the other hand, Russians, they have a backdoor to say, no, we are ready to negotiation anyway, if the reaction of President Trump will be very negative for this.
Okay. Now it makes more sense why Ushakov is kind of testing the ground, I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Michael, Russia says it wants Ukraine to respect the May 9 ceasefire and not strike Moscow. And it has just announced a ceasefire until May 10. But in the last few days, Russia has killed more than 30 people in Ukrainian cities with the missiles and drones. They were hitting homes. They were hitting dormitories and places where children were present. So what is the point of this ceasefire talk at all? Is Putin, provoking Ukraine on purpose?
No, that's a Game of Thrones. Not exactly Game of Thrones, but the game of ceasefires, the war of ceasefires. This is absurd, senseless claim, but the war of ceasefires. Russia proclaimed that they will have a ceasefire, and just today I met some words like unilaterally ceasefire. That it is also absurd. Ceasefire, it is always agreement between two sides. And in this case, Putin proclaimed that we will have a ceasefire. But he is only commander-in-chief of Russian army, not the Ukrainian army. So he couldn't command of Ukrainian army. So the Ukrainian answer was absolutely the simultaneous. Like Ukrainian President Zelensky said, okay, so we proclaim the ceasefire starting of May 6th. Starting of May 6th, we proclaimed the ceasefire. By the way, when President Zelensky proclaimed the ceasefire, he did not say that it will be for limited time. He said, and it should continue. We are ready to continue it forever, this ceasefire. And in May 6th, Putin and his army, they, as you mentioned, did not stop the fire and killed 30 people in Ukrainian cities. So from this point of time, Ukraine could give an answer, the military answer for that. And this military answer started today, last night, then Ukraine sent 530 drones to Russian territory, to different cities in Russian Federation, to Perm, which is in Ural Mountain, 2,000 kilometers from Ukrainian border, to St. Petersburg, to a lot of oil refineries and to some military objects inside the Russian Federation. So that was the answer for not stopping the fire on Mr. Zelensky ceasefire. So now this game just will continue. And a Ukrainian target, I don't believe, this is my prognosis, I don't believe that Ukraine is interested to strike military parade inside Moscow city. I just claim that it will not happen. It did not happen during 5 years, 4 parades, 2022, 23, 24, 25. This is the parade number 5 during the full-scale aggression of Russian Federation. And Ukraine never struck this parade. But Ukraine had the same possibility last year to stroke this parade, but Ukraine decided not to do that. Because also from media coverage point of view, it is bad decision. Okay, military parade, obviously it is the legal target for military strikes. Legal target, absolutely legal. But from media coverage, it will not look fine for our Western partners if we strike Russian forces on the parade in the center of Moscow city. But on the same day, on May 8th and on May 9th, Ukraine is ready to make a lot of strikes, deep strikes in Russian territory, to make the situation for Mr. Putin not so comfortable. Let's say this celebration, May 9th, is celebration of Victory Day. We call it in Russian Federation Victory Day. In British tradition, Victory Day was in 1949, and now each year we have anniversary of Victory Day. But Russians, they are not like that. They have Victory Day each year, so they won anybody just today. This is the Victory Day, not the anniversary of Victory Day, but Victory Day just now. And then Putin celebrates Victory Day, and at the same time, Ukrainian drones strike a lot of targets, military targets and energetic targets and oil refineries and ships, Russian ships in Baltic Sea and in the Black Sea. So it doesn't look so victory, it doesn't look so victory. Who you win now, then your targets are struck by Ukrainian forces. So this is the goal of Ukraine, to make it also the military step and also counter-propaganda step, but not to strike parade itself.
And speaking about how poor military parade in Moscow will look like, I'm just reading a quote of quite a famous Ukrainian professor and journalist, and he's saying, this is not yet a defeat, but the taste of defeat looks like this. And everyone sees it, and even Dima Medvedev's poetic post cannot change it. I was not reading actually Medvedev's post.
I saw a lot of Medvedev's posts during last days, because Medvedev took on himself the role of Russian military leader now, because Putin disappeared again. This is the critical point of time, and in critical point of times, Putin disappears always. We never heard him about ceasefire, for example. We never heard any speech, any Putin speech about ceasefire. It was always his spokesman, or it was just a written notice by Ministry of Defense, or it was some girl from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Maria Zakharova, but not Putin himself. So we never heard what he says about period, about ceasefire, etc., etc. Only Mr. Medvedev, who is the former president of Russian Federation. But yes, really, this parade looks not such a winner's parade. First of all, in this parade, this is the new in the Russian history, in the history of Russian Federation. This is the first time in the history of Russian Federation that military machines, they not participate in this parade. No missiles, no tanks, no anything else. Only just soldiers with machine guns or something like that. That's it. That is all the parade. And previous parades, if you, I believe that anybody on the West who interested in Russian politics at least once watched the military parade in Russian Federation or in China with a lot of techniques and with a lot of missiles, huge missiles. But now it will not be appear on Red Square. Next, and also very interesting that they almost don't have any guests on this parade. Usually they count who is the very important person who arrived to this parade. And usually it is presidents of different countries. What will happen? Last time it was about 30 world leaders, starting from China's President Xi and all the leaders of Central Asian states, of Caucasian states, and some European leaders, by the way. But what happens this year? They just now published the list of guests of this parade, of very important person of this parade.
I saw the list of guests.
Yeah. We have one supreme leader, Mr. Lukashenko, the president of Belarus. Yes. We have some leader of Myanmar. We don't know, is he legal leader of Myanmar or illegal leader of Myanmar, because nobody knows who is now exactly the leader of Myanmar. It is like Venezuela, who nobody does not know who is the leader, or Iran, for example. And all the others, they faked leaders of faked states. No, really. It is president of Abkhazia, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody could check the Wikipedia. What is Abkhazia? Abkhazia, it is the region of Georgia state, not Georgia, USA, Georgia, Caucasian state, which is occupied by Russian army. And they proclaimed that this is the independent state of Abkhazia. So this is president of Abkhazia. President of Serbian Republic, for example. Not dismiss it with Republic of Serbia. This is absolutely different issues. There is a Republic of Serbia, who has a place in United Nations, who will be candidate to European Union, and the President Vucic, etc., and a long history. But the Serbian Republic, Republika Srpska in Slovenic languages, this is part of Bosnia-Herzegovina state. They have different parts in Bosnia-Herzegovina state. One of these parts is Republika Srpska. This is just one region. Okay. Yeah, this is not Serbia.
Because I was confused, absolutely. I was reading the list, I'm like, wait, what is that? Okay.
Exactly. Everybody confused. But when you come to Bosnia from Croatia, so first you come to Republika Srpska, and afterwards Croatian Muslim Federation. So they consist of different parts, and their parliament is by quotes. They have a quote for Republika Srpska and quote for Muslim Croatian Federation. It is very, very controversial state, let's say. De facto, it is ruled by United Nations and by European Union and financed by the European Union. But this is not Serbia. This is not state at all. But in the list of 6 guests, 2 of them is from Republika Srpska, like prime minister and president. They could also invite all the population of Republika Srpska to this Red Square parade. So we don't have any guests. And one more point. Usually, each year, we have not only parade, traditional parade of technique and military forces, but we also have something like popular demonstration with people who holds the picture of their, how they call it, the grandfather who participated in the war. This is the Russian tradition last 10 years. Also, that is organized by propagandists. This is not realistic. This is not real grandfathers. This is faked pictures usually, but this is thousands of pictures. And this year, Putin's spokesman, Mr. Peskov, said that this demonstration also will happen, but online. How you could imagine the public demonstration of a lot of people, of thousands of people online, what they should do in computer game or something. So they organized it on the pictures of this parade, but not the real parade. This is also very interesting. And obviously all of these measures, they have security reasons. And Putin very fear of Ukrainian strikes, and more of that, as American news outlets this week reported, CNN by the way, they reported that Putin also has fear not only of Ukrainian forces but also of his own opposition, and he has a data that probably his own opposition inside the Russian Federation could try to kill him on this parade, but by drones, by the way, but not Ukrainian drones, Russian drones. And his opponent, according to these publications in Western press, his opponent is Mr. Sergei Shoigu, who is the former defense minister. Then the war between Russia and Ukraine started, so the defense minister was Sergei Shoigu, and he was dismissed from his position 2 years ago. And during these 2 years, a lot of his deputies were jailed, and now they also sentenced to 15 years in jail, 13 years in jail, and he is the only one who is free now, not in jail. So obviously he has a fear about that he also could be arrested every day. He is accused on corruption. And he really corrupted by like anybody in Russian government is corrupted, just anybody. There is no minister without $1 billion in Russian Federation. And if when we are speaking about Mr. Putin, so the evaluation of his money is about hundreds of billions of dollars. So Mr. Sergei Shoigu, he is number 2 in this list of richest people in Russia, and his evaluation is about $100 billion. This is the budget which he stole from the Russian military budget, which is good news. He stole a lot of money. Yeah, but he is accused of that. And he also, there's the rumors that he could organize coup d'etat during this period.
Yes, and also just days ago in Armenia there was a huge European summit where it was in Armenia, in Yerevan, and where there was President Zelensky also there, and he said that this summer will be kind of a decisive when Russian dictator should either to prolong the war or just to step on the diplomatic path. And of course, we have to push the Russian dictator Putin to go to diplomatic path. But anyway, do you have this sense that this summer will be something that's gonna change this war?
Well, it is difficult to prognose after 4 years of war, and it could be also our just wishful thinking when they speak about that. But we have a lot of markers, and when we are hearing then President Zelensky say something, so obviously it is also wishful thinking, could be, by President Zelensky. But that is very interesting. But last weeks, last couple of months, let's say, there's a popular movement in Russian Federation against Putin. Let's say that started a popular movement. It is not demonstrations, it is not organized movement, but it is a lot of publications by Russian celebrities, different Russian celebrities, who is not liberal opposition. No, this is not liberal opposition to President Putin. But this is Russian celebrities from who were the part of Putin's regime. And now they publish every day a lot of materials against Putin. This process started by Mr. Ilya Remeslo. Ilya Remeslo, he was just some supplier or worker or supplier, I don't know exactly, of headquarters of Mr. Putin. And suddenly he published a big internet post against Putin and said that Mr. Putin should go to tribunal, to the jail, to the court, and should be dismissed just because he losing the war and he lost Russian economy and he lost the negotiation to Americans. So this guy, Ilya Remeslo, he's a young guy, he's a lawyer, by the way. He is not criticized Putin for starting the war. He is criticizing Putin for not bad management of war. And when this guy published that, so everybody thought, oh yeah, now he is going to the jail. But not. They closed him in the psychology clinic.
Oh, yeah, really. That guy.
Russian authorities there. They closed him in psychology clinic, but only for 1 month. He was released. He was not arrested. And he continued now to post every day anything against Putin. But more of that, he was interviewed by Russian propagandist. Ksenia Sobchak, for example, she is very not popular, but famous Russian propagandist and Mr. Putin worker. And she organized an interview with this guy, the Remeslo. Afterwards, liberal media, also liberal media from abroad, in Russia itself, there is no liberal media, but Russian liberal media from opposition also interviewed this guy, Mr. Remeslo. But yesterday, very interesting, Washington Post interviewed this guy, Ilya Remeslo, and Washington Post prepared a very, very long read with a lot of quotes from Ilya Remeslo. And a lot of another Russian propagandists and Russian media guys and girls, they started publish anti-Putin text. Like, it looks like, okay, now it is not banned to publish anti-Putin texts. It started from so-called military correspondence from frontline. It continued with some glamour girls like Victoria Bonia, for example. She's model and influencer in Instagram, and she published anti-Putin video, and this video was watched by 50 million people. 50 million people. It covered 50 million people in the Russian Federation. So it is absolutely fantastic. And that is interesting that today, just today, I read a couple of materials in Western press, in The Economist and in Wall Street Journal. They are not connected one to other, but the headlines is almost the same. Putin lost Russia, or Putin lost the power. So the general vibe in Russian elites, not in Russian nation. This is not national movement. This is elitaric movement. And in Russian elites now the vibe that Putin lost his past, that he lost his force, then he does not know how to negotiate with Trump. He does not know how to continue the war because he does not have any, his army not moving forward and losing thousands of soldiers each day, not moving forward anyway. And this period, of May 9th, will be very symbolic. We will see that. It is very important to watch this period. I believe I will watch it personally, because it's very important how Putin will look on this period as a national leader or as a national loser. And on this depends his political future this summer, really.
Michael, at first, when I saw this political elite in Russia raising up against Putin, I thought that nothing in Russia could happen without his permission. It's the same with the economic data. When they're releasing the economic data and Putin was, you remember a few weeks ago, so angry and everybody was texting and saying that. And now I'm listening to you and I'm like, maybe it's actually out of his control, finally.
Absolutely. And again, I come back to this guy, to Mr. Ilya Remeslo, who is lawyer and former propagandist. Oh, he's not exactly propagandist. He did not work for propaganda. He was organizer of some process. For example, he helped to organize the criminal process against Alexei Navalny, the main Russian oppositioner who was killed in jail by Russians. And so he is like power guy, not the media guy, Ilya Remeslo. But he published very interesting, story. Then also some propagandist published the post in his social network and said, all of yours, you read my posts. So if you say that was organized by Putin and his staff, so somebody should to approve my posts before it is published. And that's true, yeah? Could you imagine anybody in Russian Federation who could approve post where I write that Putin should go to jail? There is nobody who could approve this post, It is unbelievable. So no, I can't believe that this is some theory and that this is some conspirology and Putin stays after that. They don't have any fantasy. They don't have we are not so creative in Russian authorities, in the headquarters of Mr. Putin. They don't have any creative guys and girls, just any. So they are only straightforward. They look only straightforward and they don't have any creativity. So no, it couldn't be organized by Russian authorities.
Michael, my final question, as long as I touched Zelensky and European political community summit in Yerevan, for years, Moscow treated Armenia almost as a part of its own security space. But after a couple of years, something has changed between them. Do you think that actually Armenia is going out from Russia's orbit, I would say?
Not only I think this is the official position of Armenia.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And the official position of Mr. Nikol Pashinyan, Prime Minister of Armenia. And in Armenia, in 1 month, will be the general election to parliament. And Mr. Nikol Pashinyan, who is leader of the ruling party, he is going to this election with the idea of joining the European Union. This is absolutely new idea. This idea just was born last year. Just 1 year ago, Armenia was the part of military bloc of Russian Federation, ODKB. I don't remember what is the exact name of this bloc. And Armenia was the part of economic union of Russian Federation with Kazakhstan, etc. But now Armenia left this military bloc, and Armenia says that we are going not to the union with Russia, but to European Union. This is absolute change in this politics. Why it happened? Also obvious, because Armenia lost the war to Azerbaijan and lost the occupied territory. Armenia, during 35 years, occupied Azerbaijani territories in Karabakh, and Russia helped. And Armenians, they believed that in case of full-scale war between Armenia and Azerbaijan for Karabakh. Russia will be part of this war on Armenian side. But Russians, as always, they are like taco, they always not support the allies. They did not support, by the way, for example, in Syria, we could see how they did not support Assad. In Venezuela, Maduro. In Iran, they did not support Khamenei. And in Armenia, we also did not give any soldier and any military personnel to this war. So Armenia decided, so why we need this kind of ally? We need European Union, obviously. And this is for Armenians, this is very natural way to European Union. Armenia is Christian country, and their way not with Russia, which is Muslim country mostly, but with European Union.
Do you think somehow Russia will try to punish Armenia?
They don't have so much tools for that.
Okay.
Armenia now building the new union with Turkey, with Azerbaijan, with Iran. Slow, but yeah. And now they started to receive oil from Azerbaijan, for example. So generally, they don't need Russia for their economy. By the way, when Armenia, during decades, was in the economic union with Russian Federation, Armenia was the very poor country, one of poorest country in post-Soviet space, and obviously poorest country in the region. And now their economy are very growing last time. And you see this, for example, these events like European Political Union event with 40 leaders of European countries come to Armenia, come to Yerevan. It is first time in their history, in the history of their independence. So obviously they see that this is the way of winners and not losers. Nobody wants to be a loser, and nobody wants to go with losers. If Russia were winning the war, so it could have a lot of allies, but now then they lost the war, de facto, they have no allies.
They have no allies. Well, at this stage, Michael, thank you so much for your time, for your insights and answers. And next time, we will have a lot to, I think, discuss and to unpack. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalia.